How's it going, everybody? It's Robin here. Thanks for joining me on Oracle Rising. So guys, this is my channel where I am expressing my purpose in life to help you guys on your spiritual awareness journey and maybe breaking free from the matrix, or maybe just starting to question the status quo. So anyway, guys, welcome here and thank you for subscribing. So today I wanted to talk about the possibility that you might be a spiritual warrior, but not quite aware of it. Okay, so I find that this channel, it really attracts starseeds and lightworkers and people with empathic powers, indigo children, crystal. Let me know what's going on with you. I know a lot of you are just coming into the awareness of your starseed origin, so I think that's really cool. I'm an Arcturian starseed, I'm a lightworker, I'm an empath, and a healer. So hopefully I'm able to help you in some way. So spiritual warriors, okay? So these are people that really defend spiritual awareness. You might not even be aware. Just all of these things that you do could be really intrinsic to your personality and the way that you express yourself. And while I was doing the research for this, and I just saw angel number 111, which is really powerful. So thank you, Archangel Michael, for being here and protecting our Lightworker family. So I'm the type of person that I cannot stop myself from jumping into a situation if I see that something is going down, it's not right, you know? So my son asked me, and this was like so many years ago, it was probably like 20 years ago. He said, what is it about you that you just kind of act first and think later? And I have absolutely no idea until I started into my spiritual awareness journey. And then I also started to see aspects of myself that really fit into this spiritual warrior sort of category of light workers. So I'm just wondering how many of you are as well. So the first thing that you might notice about yourself as a spiritual warrior is that you actively bring awareness to ignorance, okay? So when we're talking about ignorance, this is really like any sort of negativity, or you see somebody being bullied. There could be people that are making judgments against other people based on things that we're born with, like our gender identification, skin color. It could be based on like tax brackets and stuff like that. So you could be really, really annoyed when stuff like that happens and leap to the defense, intervene in some way, and bring some sort of awareness to the person doing the bullying, like, hey, that's just really not cool. Maybe you should do some research, because there are sweeping generalizations that the population at large on a global basis makes against people, and it's really, truly unfair. And this is something we really need to remember, that these barriers are being put in place by the keepers of the matrix to keep us fighting over small stuff, okay? So, and just always keep in mind that this first thing that you are actively kind of combating ignorance and this awareness of it, it starts with self, okay? So you could start to notice in yourself that you have really ridiculous biases. Like for some of us, you really have to keep in mind that this could be like an upbringing thing. Like you could live with parents. And I remember like my grandparents saying really racist things. And I was like, what are they even talking about? Like, I just don't get it, okay? Or being really biased against people that didn't have the same faith as them. And it just always like kind of confounded me, because I just thought it was so stupid, So this started for me when I was very, very young, and I always had questions like why people had those beliefs and sort of set themselves apart just because their skin was a certain color, or they attended a certain church, or they had so much money in the bank, and it just never made any sense to me. So you could start questioning that on your own, and maybe start to understand that what you were brought up to know as truth was actually false and part of the game of the matrix, okay? So the second one, man, I've been through this one, guys. Really, really let me know, because I find this is so applicable to people that are on starseed journeys, they're awakening, any sort of empath. We go through really extreme adverse situations in life and endure them. Okay, so this is not to say that we don't live without sadness or it takes a while to recover from them, but it's like it could seem like your life is a little bit harder or a lot harder than the person standing beside you. It's like, well, why did they have such a great childhood? Or, why am I going through this? And it is really to build you up and keep your strength, and you can develop that, because when it comes to spiritual warfare, it's a little bit scary. So you have to think in terms of darkness and light. Okay, so you want to think of all the light warriors, the light workers, like we're fighting against something, and this is the keepers of the matrix and the keepers of the darkness that wants to hold humanity and the planet in a grip of fear. Okay, so some of the things that you might have had to endure are really a life filled with pain, feeling always like you're in danger, and feeling always afraid. Okay, so, and you could have been placed as a child in a family where all of these things were present so that you could learn to stand on your own 2 feet and come into your own as a light worker. Okay, so I've mentioned this before. My childhood was not good. Okay, I had extremely abusive environment, although my parents want to take no responsibility for that at all, and that's on them. So it's just really, it's kind of a life of suffering, so. And I read somewhere a while ago that if you live a life of pain, it's because your calling is high. And sometimes that can really, it seems like a small measure of, like a pat on the head or something like that, but it's the absolute truth. I see where people are really struggling, and it's because it's meant to shape them. Okay. So the third thing is that you could maintain a level of discipline about your activities. You could find yourself getting up at the same time every day, whether it's a work day or not, like really adhering to taking care of your body, taking care of your family, like being punctual, just really being disciplined in many senses of the word. Okay, so I find this one is very important because it kind of teaches you how to run your life and adhere to living a high standard of self and serving. Okay, so the next thing that I have here is being completely self-aware, recognizing self-destructive thought patterns. And this might not come on until a little bit later in life. Okay, so finally realizing maybe that there is a habit that isn't so good for you, or a work environment that isn't good for you, like really noticing destructive negative thoughts and saying, okay, I have to do something about this. Okay, so these might not seem like much, like when you take them one at a time, but when you combine them, there is a certain inference that you are either have been born to be a spiritual warrior, or you're developing on your path. Okay, so some of you could absolutely have really horrific dark night of the soul awakenings, go through extended hermit periods so that you can really start to understand yourself. Okay, because it is in isolation where we start to pay attention to what is happening in our heads and identifying what needs to be there and what doesn't, and really how to take care of yourself first and serve second. Okay, so as a warrior, a spiritual warrior, you could have just this huge compassionate energy and extending kindnesses, wherever you go. You could be the person that is smiling at everybody, like saying good morning, holding the door open for people, like just helping people out and being compassionate to all life forms. Okay, so you could just be on like a plant-based diet, just so because you just don't want to see suffering in the lives of other beings on the planet. And that's kind of a sticky subject to bring up because I'm a vegan, so I'm not going to thump on about stuff like that, you guys. But I notice that the higher people go on their spiritual journey, the less that they want to inflict pain onto other life forms. Okay, so that compassion could grow as you move through life. And just to be fair for you guys, like, I was not born a vegan. I think it's been almost 10 years now, and that was part of my spiritual awakening. Okay, so just to throw that out there, if you guys ever have questions about that, I'm not here to force a lifestyle on you, but if you ever have any questions, just let me know in the comments, or you can email me. My email address is below in the description box. And the last thing that I have here for you as a spiritual warrior, as you're stepping into this realization that you are here to be a defender of all that is love, light, and joy, is that you understand that the only way to heal is through love. Okay, so you step back into a position where you do not judge other people. You have an acceptance of self, being on your own journey, and you will get there when you're ready. And the same applies to other people. So you will have this acceptance that other people, everybody else, animals, humans, they're all here to complete their own karma, to check off the boxes on their soul contract. So when you see this, then you are able to send love and acceptance, and you realize that the purpose of your journey is love and to be love. And that is the best feeling in the world. And this is how we can eradicate everything that is wrong with the world right now. There's absolutely no reason why we should be having gas shortages, why people should be going hungry. There's no excuse for wars. There's just understanding that the universe is limitless. There is enough, more than enough, to supply everybody. So when we take out low-lying energies like jealousy, rage, all these things that keep us stuck in the matrix, then the only thing left is love. And when everything is love, everything is peace and joy. So let me know, you guys, if any of these or all of these resonated for you. I am sending you blessings on your path, wherever it is that you are right now, because like, I started off like in a very, very, very difficult place, a very angry place. You know, I was like very reactive. I got involved in very violent situations, you know, so I had a long path of healing before I got to where I am now, and the journey never ends. We just keep going higher and growing in love and light. And with that, you guys, I just wanted to send you so much love, peace, and blessings. Namaste, you guys. Bye. Bye for now.